Did you hear about such an anyway?
I didn't think it polite to listen, sir.
I'm sorry to bother your state. You see, I don't play accurately. Anyone can play accurately. As far as the piano is concerned, sentiment is my forte. I can be science for life.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and speaking of science for life, do you have the cucumber sandwiches cut for the bread?
Yes, sir.
By the way, I saw this in your book on Thursday night when Lord Shawman and Mr. Worthing were dining here. 8 bottles of champagne are entered as having been consumed.
Yes, sir. 8 bottles in a pint.
Why is it that at a bachelor's establishment, the servants invariably drink? I ask merely for information.
I attribute it to the superior quality of the wine, sir. I've often observed that in married households, a champagne is rarely ever first-rate wine.
Good heavens. Is marriage certain more nice these days?
I believe it is a very pleasant state, sir. I have little experience with it up to the present myself. I've only been married once, but that was in consequence of a misunderstanding between myself and a young person.
I don't know that I'm much interested in your family life, Lane.
It's not a very interesting subject. I hardly think of it myself.
Very natural, I'm sure. That'll do it, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Lane's views on marriage seem somewhat lax. Really, if the lower order doesn't set us a good example, what on earth is the use for them? They seem to, as a class, have absolutely no sense of moral responsibility.
Mr. Earnest,
How are you, my dear Ernest? What brings you up to town?
Oh, pleasure. What else should bring one anywhere? Eating as usual, I see, Algy.
I believe it's considered good society that has some slight affections at 5 o'clock. So, where have you been since last Thursday night?
In the country.
What on earth do you do there?
When one is in town, one amuses oneself. When one is in the country, one amuses other people. It is excessively boring.
And who are these people you use?
Neighbours.
Thought last name was in your father's Shropshire.
Perfectly horrid. Never speak to one of them.
How immensely you must amuse them. By the way, Shropshire is your county, is it not?
Shropshire? Yes, of course. Hello, why all these cups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Why such reckless extravagance in one so young? Who's coming to tea?
Merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolyn.
How perfectly delightful!
Yes, but I'm afraid Aunt Augusta won't quite approve of your being here.
May I ask why?
My dear fellow, the way you flirted with Gwendolyn is perfectly disgraceful. It is almost as bad as the way Gwendolyn flirts with you would.
I am in love with Gwendolyn. I have come to town expressly to propose to her.
I thought you said you had come up for pleasure. I meant for that business.
How utterly unromantic you are!
I really don't see anything romantic about a proposal. It's very romantic to be in love, but there is nothing romantic about a definite proposal. While one may be accepted, one usually is, I believe, and then the excitement is all over. The very essence of romance is uncertainty. If I am married, I will certainly try to against the fact.
I have no doubt about that, dear Archie. The divorce court was specially invented for those whose memories are so curiously constituted.
There is no use speculating on the subject. Divorce courts are meeting heaven. Besides, before I can allow you to marry Gwendolyn, you must hear the question of Cecily.
Cecily? What do you mean, Algy, by Cecily? I don't know anyone by the name of Cecily.
Bring me a cigarette, please, Mr. William, in the dining room last time we dined here.
Yes, sir.
Do you mean to say that you've had my cigarette picks all this time? I was supposed to let you know. I was so immediately I was been writing frantic letters to Scotland Yard about it when I was very nearly offering a large reward.
Well, I wish I you would. I haven't been more than usually hard up.
Well, there's no good offering a large reward after the thing is found.
Well, I think that's rather rude of you, Earnest. However, it makes no matter. For now that I read the inscription inside, I find that the thing is yours after all.
Of course it's mine. You've seen me with it 100 times, and you've no right whatsoever to read what is written inside. It's a very ungentlemanly thing to be a private cigarette case.
That's absurd. If you can't tell what about should and shouldn't read it, then more than half of our culture depends on what one shouldn't read.
I'm quite aware of the fact that I don't propose to discuss modern culture. It isn't the sort of thing one should talk with in private. I simply want my cigarette case back.
Yes, but this cigarette case is a present from someone of the name of Cecily. And you seem you don't know anybody of that name.
Well, if you want to know, Cicely happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt.
Yes, charming old lady she is too. Lives at Tunbridge Wells. Just give it back to me, Algie.
Yes, but why does your aunt, who lives at Tunbridge Wells, call herself Little Cecily? From Little Cecily with her fondest love.
My dear fellow, what on earth is there announcement? Some are tall, some are not tall. Surely that is a matter that an artist is allowed to decide for himself. You seem to think that every aunt should be exactly like your aunt. That is absurd. For heaven's sake, take me back my cigarette case.
Yes, but why does your aunt call you her uncle? From Little Cecily with her fondest love to her dear Uncle Jack. Now, there is no objection I make to an aunt being a small aunt, but why an aunt who has a little size of a niche of her nephew or uncle, I can't quite make out. Besides, your name isn't Jack at all, it's Earnest.
It isn't Ernest, it's Jack.
I always introduce you as Earnest. You answer as the name of Earnest. You look as if your name were Earnest. You are the most earnest person I ever saw in my life. It is really absurd you're saying that your name isn't Earnest. It is on one of your cards. Mr. Ernest Wood, B4, the Albany. Now, I shall keep this as proof that your name is Ernest, should you ever try to deny it to me, or to Gwendolyn, or to anyone else for that matter.
Well, my name is Ernest in town, Jack in the country, and the cigarette case was given to me in the country.
Yes, but why does your aunt call you her uncle? Come on, old boy, you much better have the whole thing out at once.
My dear fellow, you talk exactly as if you were a dentist. It is very vulgar to talk like a dentist when one isn't a dentist. It produces a false impression.
But that is what dentists always do. Now, why are you friends in town and Jack in the country? I may mention that I always suspected you of being a confirmed and secret Bunburyist, and now I'm quite sure of it.
Bunburyist? What do you mean by a Bunburyist?
I'll reveal to you the meaning of that incomparable expression as soon as you are kind enough to tell me why you are Earnest in town and Jack in the country.
Well, produce my cigarette case first.
Fine. Now, produce your explanation. And if I fix it probable.
My dear fellow, there is nothing improbable about my explanation at all. In fact, it's perfectly ordinary. The old Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me when I was a little boy, made me in his will guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who now addresses me as her uncle, promotes as a respect that you could not possibly appreciate. It is in my place in the country, under the charge of our admirable governess, Miss Prison.
Well, where's the place in the country, Governor?
That is nothing to you, dear boy. You are not going to be invited. I may tell you quite candidly that the place is not in Shropshire.
Well, I suspected that, my dear friend. I have bunburyed all over Shropshire on 2 separate occasions. Now, why are you Earnest in town and Jack in the country?
My dear Algie, I don't know whether you will be able to understand my real motives. You are hardly serious enough. When one is placed in the position of guardian, one has to develop a high moral tone on all subjects. It is one's duty to do so. And as a high moral tone can hardly be said to produce one's own health and one's happiness, in order to get up to town, I have always pretended to have a younger brother of the name Earnest, who lives in the Albany and gets into the most dreadful scrapes. That, my dear Algie, is the whole truth, pure and simple.
The truth is rarely pure and never simple. Modern life would be very tedious at work, and modern culture a complete impossibility.
That wouldn't be at all a bad thing.
Literary criticism is not your forte, my dear fellow. Don't try it. Leave it to the people who didn't go to the university. They do it quite so well on a daily basis. What you are is a bumburist. I was quite right in saying you are a bumburist.
What on earth do you mean?
You have made a useful younger brother by the name of Earnest, in order that you may be able to come up to town as often as you like. I invented a permanent, invaluable invalid named Bunbury, in order that I may be able to go down into the country whenever I choose. Now, Bunbury is perfectly invaluable. For instance, if it weren't for Bunbury's backup, I wouldn't be able to dine with Lord Willis's tonight.
I haven't asked you to dine with me anyway tonight.
I know. You are so absurdly careless with sending out invitations. It's very foolish of you, and nothing annoys him so much as not receiving an invitation.
You had much better dine with your Aunt Augusta.
I have no intentions of doing anything of the kind. To begin with, I dine there on Monday, and once a week is more than enough to dine with one's own relations. In the second place, whenever I dine there, I am always treated as a member of the family and sent down with 2 women, or none at all. In the third place, I know very well who she will place me next to. She was managed to marry Francois, who was first with her husband across the dinner table. It is not very decent. In fact, it is not even pleasant. And that sort of thing is enormously on the increase. The amount of women who flirt with their own husbands is perfectly scandalous. It looks so bad. It is simply washing one's clean linen in public. Besides, now that I know to be a Bunburyist, I naturally want to talk to you about Bunbury. I want to tell you all the rules.
I'm not a Bunburyist at all. If Gwendolyn accepts me, I am going to kill my brother. In fact, I think I'll kill him in any case. Cicely is a little too much interested in him. It is rather a bore. So, I'm going to get rid of Earnest, and I strongly advise you to do the same with Mr. with your invalid friend who has the absurd name.
And nothing unusual about the Bunbury. And if you choosing to marry, which seems to be extremely problematic, you'll be glad to know Bunbury. For a man who marries without knowing Bunbury has a very tedious time of it.
That is nonsense.
It isn't.
If I marry a charming girl like Bunbury, she is the only girl I ever saw in my life that I would marry, I certainly won't want to know Bunbury.
Then your wife does it. You don't seem to realize that in married life, 3 is company and 2 is none.
That, my dear young friend, is the theory of the corrupt French drama and French pounding for the last 50 years.
Yes, but the heavy English film is proven in half the time.
For heaven's sake, don't try to be cynical. It's perfectly easy to be cynical.
It isn't easy to be anything nowadays. There's such a beastly competition about. That must be Aunt Augusta. Only creditors and British ever ring in the French jury mouth. Now. Then I need you a few months alone with Gwendolyn so that you may have a chance of proposing to her. May I please dine with you at Willis's tonight?
I suppose so, if you want to.
Yes, but you must be serious about it. I hate people who are not serious about their meals. It is so shallow of them. very well, Aunt
Oh, Algernon, those are not quite the same thing. In fact,
They rarely come together. Dear me, you're smart.
I'm always smart. Aren't I, Mr. Worthing?
You're quite perfect, Miss Fairfax.
Oh, I hope I'm not that. It would leave no room for developments, and I intend to develop in many directions.
I'm sorry, we were late here, Algernon. You see, I was obliged to call upon the poor Lady Harbury. I mean, I hadn't seen her since her poor husband's death. Whew.
I've never seen a woman quite so altered. She looks a good 20 years younger.
I think now I will have a cup of tea, one of those fancy cucumber sandwiches you promised me.
Certainly, Auntie Esther.
Gwendolyn, come here, please. Come sit here.
Thanks, Mama. I'm quite comfortable where I am.
Good heavens. Lane! Why are there no cucumber sandwiches?
There were no cucumbers when I went to the market this morning, sir. I looked twice.
No cucumbers!
No, not even for any money.
That'll do it. Thank you. I am greatly distressed, Auntie Esther, about there being no cucumbers. And not even for any money.
Oh, it is really no matter, Algernon. I had a few appointments with the Lady Harbury, who seem to be living entirely for pleasure now.
Yes, just quite goes from grief.
It certainly has changed its colour from what colour I, of course, cannot say. Oh, Algernon, I have quite the treat for you tonight. I'm going to send you down here for Croix. Such a nice woman, and so attentive to us. I mean, they are delightful to watch.
It pains me to say this, Auntie Esther, but I'm afraid I shall have to give up the pleasure of dining with you tonight after all.
Oh, I hope not, Algernon. That would put my table completely out. Don't force your poor uncle to have to dine upstairs all on his own. But of course, fortunately, he's well accustomed to that.
He's a great boy, and he hardly say disappointment. But the matter of the fact is that I have just received a telegram saying that my poor friend Bunbury is very ill. They seem to think that I should be with him.
Oh, that is very strange. I mean, this Mr. Bunbury seems to suffer from curiously poor health.
Yes, poor Bunbury is truthful invalid.
Well, I must say, Algernon, I think that it's high time that Mr. Bunbury makes up his mind whether he is to live or to die. I mean, this silly shabby question is quite inappropriate and absurd, I say so. Nor do I in any way approve of modern sympathy with invalids. I consider it to be morbid. Illness of any kind is not a thing to be encouraged from anybody. You do know that health is the primary function of life. Well, I'm always reminding your poor uncle of that, but he does not seem to be getting any better. Take note of what I say, as far as health goes. But anyway, I should be much obliged if you were to ask Mr. Bunbury from me if it would be at all possible for him to not have any relapse this Saturday, as I require you to arrange the music for my party. It is the last reception that I am having, and the music, well, people want something to encourage conversation, especially at the end of the season when everybody has said what they're going to say, which in the first place was already not much.
I'll speak to Bunbury and to Esther, as if he's still conscious. But I think we'll be alright by Saturday. Now, the music is a great difficulty.